Hi, and welcome to My Scrap Menagerie. I'm Jen, and today we're going to be doing these absolutely adorable tattoos. Let's get started. Before we start, let's go over the paper we'll be using. It's the Silhouette tattoo paper. There's 2 sheets in the pack, and inside the package there is instructions, and also on the back there are a few pictures to help you, but my tutorial here will go through all of this with you. Now, the sheets that come with it, we have the clear carrier sheet with the green backing and the printable sheet. This has a glossy side and a matte side. You'll be printing on the glossy side. Now let's begin. Okay, to get started, we want both our tattoo images on the sheet of paper, the tattoo paper. So let's go up to File, Merge, and pick the first one, and that will load it onto the page. Now we want the other tattoo image on the same page. So to do that, you just go File, Merge again. We pick the Canada Day image. Okay, now as you can see, we have both images here. Now what we want to do is size them down a bit. So let's click on this Canada Day one. We can just size it down a little bit there because we're going to trace it. As you can see here, there's a white background on both of these images, and we don't really want that. So let's take that off. We are going to select both images. We're going to go to the Trace panel. We're going to go Select Trace. Oops, okay. Select Trace first. Then we can select both images. Okay, and let's just zoom in a little so we can see it a bit better here. All right. Now we want to move the threshold just a bit. What we're going for is we want to make sure the outsides of everything are all there, not choppy. But we don't want to go so far that we get bits here. Outside that leaf, you're getting little bits. So we want to kind of find a happy medium. And I think it looks pretty good there. Then we go down to the scale, and scale kind of smooths things out a little bit, but we don't want to go too crazy. We just want a nice cutout. So we kind of move it around. Okay, I think that is probably as good as we're going to get. Okay. So now we're going to click Trace and Detach. That means when you do a trace of it like this and click Trace and Detach, it is going to detach the design from that white background. So let's click that. Now when we click on the white background and move it, you can see there's the white background. It's not around your design anymore. So just delete that. And the same with the Canada design. You can see all the white is removed. So click that and delete. And then we're good to go here. Okay, next what we want to do is we want to put a cut line around our images. And when I do that, I like to leave some white space around it, like a white margin. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the offset panel, click on that. Now we're going to select both designs and we're going to click offset. And then we're going to, because I'm pretty satisfied with that, you're cutting it out just so that you can place it on your skin. You're not going to get this white border. So let's just click apply. Okay, and if you look, there's some little bits here. You can either leave them or remove them. I think I will remove them. So let's just, we right click, release compound path, so that we can move every little bit here. Now you see boxes around all the little bits. I want to click outside, then click back, click on it, delete. Don't need this piece either. Click, delete, click, delete, and just keep going through this image because we really only need the outside. Oh, make sure you don't get the design itself. We just don't need those little bits to cut out. It's not a big deal. So, whoops, let's click off of that. Whoa. Put that back. Sometimes it takes a little finesse here to actually get the pieces you want to remove. Okay, so this one, and whoop, there we go again. Like I say, I should have zoomed in again. Okay, I'm just going to click on that, delete, and that looks much better. Now that's our cut lines. Now what we want to do, let's just zoom back out again. Now we are going to get our registration marks. So click on the page setup panel. We'll go to registration marks. Select on. Now I always move the thickness right up to 1 so that those lines for the registration marks really show up, so that you see here, so that when the machine is cutting it can actually see them. Sometimes if they're too thin they kind of miss. So now we want to make sure our designs are the size we want. Now I believe we need to group them so we don't lose the cut lines from each design. So we'll select both, we're going to group, and we're going to do the same for the Canada Day. Select all, right click and group. Okay, now we're going to take our little gnome, and I figure I want him about 2 inches. So let's move his hat, the top of his hat to this line, because I'm using the squares on my mat to measure. So then we're going to take him, we're going to shrink him down, and that's about right. It doesn't have to be exact. So see, he's about 2 squares high. Okay, so we want to do the same for this design. This may be a little trickier, but it really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be exact. So there, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe just a little smaller. Let's just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to make sure we got them placed. We don't want to go over this border here, and we don't want to go into the hash lines. So we're just going to place them there. Okay, now when you're doing tattoos, you have to remember you are going to want to reverse your images, because the tattoo paper, when it goes on, you'll discover this if you cut it wrong, and I did. So I had to print it again. So make sure you mirror your images. So let's select them, right click, flip horizontally. Okay, then click outside. We're just going to move them back to where I had them before. Yeah, you have to remember to mirror. I always make that mistake. All right, that's about where I want them. Now we are going to print them out. Before we go ahead and print, just make sure that you do a whole page of tattoos. So fill your page up with tattoos, the same ones or different ones, just so you don't waste a whole sheet of tattoo paper. So let's go up to print, send to printer. We click on print. Now, tattoo paper that I'm using, it requires a inkjet printer. So this is my inkjet right here. And we want to go into preferences. I want mine as the rear paper feed slot. And we're going to go down here. We're going to change the paper type to photo paper glossy. And just click OK. That's fine. It goes back to auto select, but we'll just select where I want the paper to come from again. All right, make sure it's on color. Now you can click on OK and print. Now please excuse the double printing. I accidentally didn't mirror my first design, so yep, I make mistakes too. So that's why I had started putting on the transfer paper, the clear sheet. So that's why that green strip is there. So just ignore that. Hopefully yours does not have to be printed twice. Now we're going to take the green strip off and we're going to reapply, or hopefully you will just be applying. Yeah, I flubbed, so you don't have to. Now we just attach it to the top of our page. Make sure it's on there really good. And now we are going to slowly peel back the green undersheet. It's a little tricky at first, but just slowly pull the sheet while you're pressing the clear film onto your paper. And there you go. You can even get your scraper tool to make sure you have all the bubbles out. Okay, now we're going to get our Silhouette mat. And we are going to place our tattoos onto the mat. Just make sure it's on there really good so it doesn't slide around. Now we're going to go to send. And we want to use line to cut. So that way it'll only cut the outside offset that we did. So if you look here, the red is only the outside, and that's what we want. So we have the red line checked off that we want to cut that. Our settings are temporary tattoo paper, cut, and ratchet blade. And you can increase it to 4 if you wish, and then just click send. Now we've cut our tattoos out. As you can see here, it cut just on the offset lines. Now we're going to take the tattoo paper off, and the best way to do that is peel your mat off of the tattoo paper. That way your tattoo paper won't warp or roll. Now we're ready to punch out our tattoos. And if you end up with a few torn bits of the paper, don't worry about that, because when you put it on your wrist or wherever you're going to put these tattoos on, we're just transferring the ink. We're going to get rid of the paper anyway, so don't worry about that. And there we have it. Our two tattoos are cut out. Now we're ready to put them on. Okay, to put the tattoos on, we're just going to peel back the clear carrier sheet. It might be a little tricky at first, so it might take a few tries, but you'll get it. And there you go, you just peel it right off the design. Now once you do that, we place it where we want to put the tattoo, and I'm going to put mine on my wrist. Just make sure it's on there. And then you take a wet cloth and press it on for about 20 to 30 seconds. Once the time's up, you take the cloth off and just carefully peel off the paper backing. And there you go. You've now made your first tattoo. Doesn't it look great? If you enjoyed this video, click subscribe and don't forget to click the little bell to be notified when I make more videos. Thanks for watching.